Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Matthew Bolin on the line, and he is the owner over at MT Escrow. Matt, welcome to the show.
Oh, happy to be here, Adam.
Oh man, so excited to get you on the show today and get into escrow. And we have a very special topic, as we were talking about in the warm up, because I don't know the answer to this one. I'm excited to get into it. So independent escrow versus other escrow agencies. I wish we had like a boxing like ding or something like that in here, but we don't. So we're just gonna keep going. Just to start out though, Matt, let's just start with what you're doing over at MT Escrow. So first, tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Oh, sure. I'd be happy to. So MT Escrow, I started this company back in 2018. I'm out in Westlake Village, and what we basically run over at MT Escrow is essentially we're taking a nice step into the 21st century by having all paperless escrow, which is kind of unheard of in my industry, where escrow is mostly
like
known
truly
as
paperless, not saying like you're a paperless office, but then you have a stack of paper. Like, just to be clear.
No. We're trying to go truly paperless. Now, I can't actually say that we're fully paperless, just because we're governed by local government agencies. So it's a little difficult to go that way, but I'm hoping that within the coming years that we will be truly paperless. So yes, everything that we do, it's all through either HelloSign, DocuSign. There are a lot of different agencies that we use, and we help out real estate agents in meeting those demands. But that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to revolutionize what people have done in escrow for years and years and years, and just say, hey, the technology's there, let's use it.
That's awesome. And so escrow, because you're in Westlake Village, so California. For the people listening, you have a large large audience here. That being said, what type of escrow is it? Just on homes? Is it commercial, residential? Is it businesses? So, just to give a little bit of flavor there.
Glad you asked. I mean, starting right now, we're doing residential, commercial, bulk sales, REOs, anything having to do with real estate, we can do. In addition, we're looking to branch out into also doing what are known as surrogacy escrows, liquor licenses, and then eventually branching off into television and film.
Man, that's awesome. I didn't say I didn't know anything about escrow. I just didn't know there was a difference between independent escrow versus other escrow agencies. So let's just get into that right away. So what pros and cons? Let's start it out.
Pros and cons. Okay, no problem. I mean, so I can honestly say it's the ultimate thing to do because as a consumer, you have the power to choose your escrow company. A lot of people don't know that. They assume, oh, my broker chooses or my real estate agent chooses, and they will usually choose. Most escrow companies out there, they are reputable. However, when you choose an independent escrow company, what that's doing is that's adding additional securities. And what I mean by that is, if you choose a company that's maybe affiliated with like another real estate company, and many of the escrow companies are, you're essentially putting more money into the real estate agent's pocket, number one. And number two, those companies aren't regulated by an outside entity. They're regulated under that real estate agent's license. So in other words, when you buy a house, say, you put a deposit down with an escrow company and they hold it for you. The escrow company is typically just supposed to hold that in what's known as a trust account. Now, with an independent escrow company, that trust account is monitored by 3 outside entities. So if a penny leaves it or a penny enters it, 3 outside entities know about it, and they verify that all of the transactions are in order, and if something is off, the consumer is protected immediately. Whereas if you have a different escrow company, which is known as a controlled escrow company, those are the non-independents, what they can do is they can draw out against the trust account without anyone knowing about it. So if you deposit, like let's say you buy a house and you deposit $100,000 into their escrow company, while your escrow is processing, they can pull that money out of the trust account and they can go to Vegas with it. It doesn't matter. There's really no oversight for that. So that's one big thing. In addition to that, an independent escrow company is covered for losses up to $4 million. And it can go even higher based on certain criminal activity or anything like that. So, for example, if something does happen where I do get a hot racing tip or something like that, and I want to borrow against the trust account, and I end up becoming basically a criminal, the public is protected against that. That's something that's an added security that a lot of people also don't know. In addition, I mean, there's also the fact that since I am an independent company, I have no broker, lender, title company, or any affiliations. I'm actually an official neutral third party. So there's no
which is the ideal situation. Which is the ideal
Exactly.
situation for an escrow, if you really think about it. And I always thought that it's kind of a weird industry because you're right. They just pick it for you. It's done. Whatever. Obviously, they're getting paid. And you're giving your money to them, and just based off of the term, I guess, escrow, and they normally have these names like security or something in Latin or something else, and it's just to make you feel really safe. And you're like, oh man, but when you look under the hood and you think as a consumer, it's like, well, why would I want to give up all the other things that you're mentioning based on something that I don't have any control over, or I don't really necessarily even know what's going on?
Exactly, and I think that's the type of the market that we're in, especially in Southern California, is that many real estate companies have their own escrow companies. A lot of title companies have their own escrow companies, and a lot of brokers have their own escrow companies. And what they're able to do is, since they're making so much money off of the front end of that, their escrow deals, they can actually charge pretty much half of what an independent escrow company charges. So the public is actually saying, oh, well, that's a lot cheaper, but it comes with a cost that you don't see. And that cost is the security feature, which we're talking about here. And that's the big ultimate pro. And that's something that when I talk to friends and I ask them if they're going to buy a house and who their escrow company is, and I find out that escrow company is affiliated with a title company or the real estate agent, I warn them about that, because it's just like, if something happens, your money could potentially be lost. So
And all of this is kind of really interesting, because I didn't, first of all, as I mentioned, I prefaced this conversation, I'm like, well, I didn't even know there was a difference between the two. It makes a lot of sense. And I also think your approach also of educating the public is really interesting, because some of the other people that I've worked with or talked to in escrow, they're typically the holy grail is to just get directly to these lead funnels and all these other things and this and that. But just the fact that you're out and creating that culture of education, I think is pretty unique to your company also.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we take a lot of pride in, is just knowing about what do we have access to today as far as technological advances, what can separate us. And that's one of the big things that I found was, okay, so a lot of people are connected with a specific broker or real estate agent, but at the same time, because you have that affiliation, you're more than likely going to favor them within a transaction. Whereas what we like to do over at MT Escrow is we are completely paperless, and when we're completely paperless, you can actually see the transparency within your transaction. Everyone has access to exactly what is going on in the transaction, and our response time is pretty much unrivaled within the industry. Normally, when you call an escrow company, it takes about an hour, 2 hours to get some kind of a response or the document that you requested. For MT Escrow, you pretty much just have access online immediately as soon as the document is prepared and done, and you have that throughout the course of the transaction. A lot of times, maybe you get something and you're like, oh, wait, I forgot to print that out, or I forgot to download that. And since everything's sent through a secure mail server, you have to request for it again. With what we're doing is we're storing everything on a specific cloud-based server that the borrowers, the brokers, anyone who's involved in our transactions, they have access to.
Man, that's awesome. So, Matt, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on MT Escrow or working with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Best way to reach out is you can always give us a call. Our phone number is 818-532-7871. Additionally, you can always go to our Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages. They're all at MT Escrow. That's the handle for all of them. And you can always visit us out in Westlake Village, California.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Matt, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at MT Escrow. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. Do all those great. By the way, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, I almost forgot that one. Leave us some comments in the comment section. Love to know your take on escrow and what's going on and some of the conversation we've had here. And Matt, thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me, Adam.